Hello and welcome to Follow Everton. You're here with me, Basil, and I'm joined today by Dan from Toffee Blue Blue. How are you feeling, Dan?
Yeah, I'm really good, mate. Not too bad. Not too bad at all. Like say, it wasn't. We're going to go through a few things. We're going to talk about last game, and you know what I'm like. I'm still positive, so we'll go
Good,
through it.
good. You need to stay positive. I mean, we've got to remember this is only game one of preseason. If we get to game four and we're still looking like we did, perhaps we'll be viewing it in a slightly different angle. But it's early days, and he's got a lot of players in that squad to kind of give minutes to. Um, so we'll be having a little look at the kind of teams we put out in each half, and we'll go through the players and see how we felt the game went and who was like performed best, let's say, and maybe that will give us some sort of thoughts on moving into the next game, who maybe gets a chance from the start. Um, let's bring up the Everton
Here we
first
go.
half. Team and formation. So we start in a 3-4-3 formation, let's say. Let's try not to call it a 5 because I don't think
Yeah,
it's intended to be.
I think that's what everyone else calls it. Is the five? Do you know what I mean? They don't call it the 3-4-3 because it can be a five.
This I've labeled this in my navigation here, Everton's intention. I've actually got one which is Everton's actual first half formation, in my opinion. But we can run through it as this, and then I'll comment on that tactical side of it after we've looked at the players.
Yeah, that like you say, it's good to have both. Like the way you want it, the way he wanted it to work out, and the way it did work out.
Yeah, and what we can see, or we'll go through the players in a second, but this is Arsenal's lineup. So they played in a 4-2-3-1 in the first half. We were obviously playing that 3-4-3, and you can see it's virtually their strongest kind of near enough 11 from our outsiders' point of view, especially that attacking lineup. So we were under the cosh in that respect for that first half team that we put out. So how do you think? Firstly, Pickford got on. Didn't have much to do apart from pick the ball up out of his net. He did get involved in that first goal for Arsenal. He tried to come out for the ball and he completely missed it. What was your view on that?
Yeah, we'll start with Pickford and then we'll go from left to right, left to right. So Pickford up, like he made that cracking save, didn't he? Right at the start, they said the keeper's getting used already to save him. I heard one of the commentators say that, so, and he made a good save. But going to what you said, the flap from set pieces, he's got to cut that out, hasn't he? We know he's got everything, but that is one of his weaknesses. So it cost us a goal. So you could say that was bad to do that. But other
Yeah,
than that, everything else was tidy from him.
I don't know whether maybe it did cost us the goal. Maybe they still score anyway because it was a good finish. Should there have been more men at that back post around where Jesus was? Because he had time to bring that ball down and slot it in. As long as we're not making these mistakes when we go into the season, I'm not too bothered right this second. Because I think our priority right now is working on the kind of build-up play and possession football. I
I think
doubt they're doing a lot
I
of
think
set
what you
pieces.
just said, like the set pieces, you've got to sort it out. We've seen it so many times last season, and it was one of our biggest weaknesses was set pieces, and it should be sorted out by now. That's it. I missed the positive, but that is one thing that I'll say that should have been addressed is set pieces. I don't like zonal marking. I prefer to go man to man because so many times when teams have scored set pieces against us, you see the player completely unmarked, not challenged whatsoever, and you don't want to see that. Every player should have a player for me. I would prefer to go back to that. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I don't mind if it's like a hybrid mixture. I think is what I'd go for. I'd have a few kind of blockers in the man mark area, and then I'd try and pick up the rest of them off man to man, so that nobody gets kind of a run off while you're all static. But I don't know what it was in that corner that we conceded from. It was like everyone seemed crowded round the
There's a
round
lot on the goal
Pickford.
line, wasn't there? There was a
Yeah,
lot on the goal line. You've seen about 5, 6 players on the goal line, and you're thinking, what are you doing? You should be out
yeah.
there marking the players. Stop the shot. Don't wait for the shot to be like taken. If you stop the shot, it won't be on goal.
At least man mark, you can't. There's no excuses, and if you don't keep your man, on your on goal side, keep him away from goal. There's
Should
no excuse.
we'll go on to the player, but I was questionable whether Nkunku probably shouldn't have been on the line and come out to him, close it down a little bit more.
Perhaps, yeah, but maybe he was instructed to stay on the line and
to stay on the line, yeah. But this is the thing though. This is the thing though, Basil. They look so confused on set pieces. Like you've just said, we didn't know what they were thinking. They look everywhere. Every set piece does not look organised. If a set piece is organised, you're okay, but it wasn't organised.
Yeah, it's something we've got to sort out. It hasn't been good enough.
No, so on Pickford, we'll go through these players. What mark are you going to give Pickford for that first half out of 10?
I'm going to give him 6.
I'm with you. I'm going to go 6. I just think that if he was he only played one half. If he was part of a bad thing, yeah, 6 might be generous.
Because some of his passing was a bit wayward at times, but his intention. I almost look at the way that we tried to pass out, and I think Pickford's the only one who can actually ping a pass. I don't expect my back line to be able to ping the pass like he can, which is concerning.
It's also the centre back being available for Pickford. Like I thought second half he was better at that, but we'll go on to that. So Pickford, we're giving a 6. So we'll move on to Ben Godfrey.
Do you know what? I thought it was interesting that Godfrey, you won't be able to see my mouse actually, but he kind of, there was several times where I saw him move into midfield because we were playing with the back sort of 5 at times when Arsenal were coming onto us and they had the ball, and he would move in and try and close down the likes of Odegaard or somebody who was in the centre and try and stop that space. I thought that was good awareness from him. So I thought that was clever. But apart from that, I mean, he didn't do a lot. They just looked a bit shaky, the whole 3 of them, to be honest. But Godfrey, I'll give him a 6.
6. While we're talking about Godfrey, anyone that's listening, like and subscribe. We want to get the channel as big as we can. Anyone that comes on, like and subscribe. We've got really good content. We upload a lot of stuff. If you could like and subscribe, we want to get the channel bigger. It would be amazing. Just click like and subscribe, and we're really, really grateful. But we're on Godfrey now. We're giving these players ratings and mark out of 10. But on Godfrey, one thing I will say about him, he's not that good at heading the ball. I'm not putting players down, but he's not that good at heading the ball, and he's not well known for being the best passer on the ball, is he? I just feel sometimes centre-back, his strengths are isolated. I like to see him bomb it forward. I loved it when he was left-back. I really did, because all of his strengths he could use. No one could get past him. Because you knew no one could beat him for speed on that wing. If Saka tried to get past Godfrey, he wouldn't be able to because Godfrey's fast. But you move Godfrey to centre-back, he seems to get confused. And like you've just said, he didn't do anything, did he? He made one tackle, a hard tackle, but other than that, I can't remember what he did. So I'm going to give him a 6 with you.
But really, I mean, coming up against this Arsenal team, you don't identify them as having their strength at kind of heading the ball. He should be able to deal with the likes of Jesus and Saka in the air.
You think he's scared of heading the ball? What do you think it is? Because he's massive. Ben Godfrey is a proper unit. And if he even if he didn't go for the headers, if he made them think he was going to go for it, he'd win most of them. It seems like he's got a phobia of heading the ball. Yeah, that's true.
He couldn't head it. He says he cost the goal. I can't quite remember that set piece. Maybe it was him who went up for the header and he completely missed it. One of them did. I thought it was Holgate. Maybe it was Godfrey.
Well, going through that back line there on set pieces, the only person that can probably head the ball for me is Mina. So we've got one person that can head the ball. And to be fair, if you go across the midfield there as well, none of them can head the ball either, can they?
No.
And even if you go to the top, other than Calvert-Lewin, none of them can head the ball either. So on set pieces, we had one person that could head the ball there, which is worrying.
That's what I was thinking when you were talking about set pieces. I was thinking which of those... But I was thinking we should be able to deal with it because we've got the 3 centre-backs and Calvert-Lewin. That's 4 people who should be able to head a ball. The rest of them, I mean, that's probably not enough in your team, really, from a set piece. You've got 2 youngsters.
It is if the 3 centre-backs can head the ball, but for me, only Mina can there. But when we move on to the second team, the second half, I feel a lot different about that team on set pieces. So it'll be interesting to look at that.
Okay. Let's go to Mina then.
Yeah.
What did you think of him?
I like him in the team, and we all say he is the man, but he looked a bit clumsy for me. He didn't look like the normal Mina. Do you know where sometimes he'll just let the ball bounce? Don't let the ball bounce. He looked a bit too confident. There was one where the ball come over the top, and I can remember it. And I'm thinking, just head it away and get us back in possession. He let it bounce, and then all of a sudden it's panic, and you don't know what's going to happen. And then we're in a bad situation. I'm thinking, it's a basic of football. Do not let the ball bounce as a defender. Do not let it bounce because you're in trouble. So you've got to win it, win the header straight away. He just seemed a bit too confident, but we know there is a good Mina in him. I'll give Mina a 6. I'm on 6s today. I'm giving him a 6. I'm giving him no higher than a 6. I just think that's about right for what he was.
It's hard to give him any higher than the other two, although I think he was probably slightly better than the other two, but I don't think he deserves some higher mark. He didn't do a lot for me. He kind of, as you say, looked very confident, but he seemed more engaged in getting into like a boxing match with their players than he did actually on the game. He seemed to be having a spat with Pickford about how we build up from the back. I mean, which is probably good to see at this time of the year because we need to be communicating.
We all know Pickford likes a tussle and he can mark defenders out of the game, but this wasn't a game where we wanted to tussle. This was a game where we wanted to pass it out from defence. You know what I mean? That's how I feel. What mark did you give me, Mina?
I just give him a 6 as well.
6, yeah. So on to the next one. This is a bit of a not good for me. Holgate.
Well, I don't know if he was actually much worse than the other three, but he didn't do a lot for me. I mean, I'd probably just give him a 5.
I'm definitely going lower. I'm on 5. I'm probably on 4 because he played that awful pass across your own back line. And I know other people made mistakes, but that was just it was just the Holgate that got us into trouble last season. And a lot of people are saying to me, because I've tweeted about him a couple of times, Holgate was good at the end of the season, but then you see him again, and that's what you get with him a lot, is what he was that game. He wasn't elite. He can't head the ball. He can't pass the ball that good. And I often hear with Holgate, people say he's a versatile player. He didn't cost nothing. He's a versatile player. If he can't play in that centre-back position really good, then why are you going to put him in other positions if he can't play his main position good? He's not versatile for me. I wouldn't play him in the number 6 role that people say. I really wouldn't. I don't think he'd be like creative or get us going or get us passing.
He wouldn't be quite as liability because he wouldn't be the last man. You know, he's prone to a mistake, but they're all prone to mistakes. I mean, overall, that back three for me, passing out the back with Pickford, I mean, they really struggled in that first half. I don't know whether that was purely down to Arsenal, were very high up the pitch, would not let us out at all. And then
I don't think it was. I think it was because Godfrey and Holgate and Mina generally ain't that good. They panic. They panic. That is the word. They panic. When Arsenal press, they can see they panic. So Arsenal think to themselves, this is worth the press. Because one of the commentators said it. When Arsenal press, they feel Arteta will say to them, press because you will get something out of this team because they're panicking. You press and they'll make a mistake. There is a mistake in these defenders. One of the commentators said it and I thought, you know what? You're right, because if you press Holgate or Godfrey, they very likely won't pass it past their attackers. And they didn't, and there was mistakes. So they need to learn how to do that for me.
Yeah, it's something we need to look at in terms of style. I mean, the team hasn't really changed from last year. Lampard thinks he can get these players playing this passing game. Personally, I don't think they can do it without a few more signings. But I can see why he's doing it. I mean, Frank will be out of the job if he doesn't get the team going and doesn't. But
on the team on the second half, I think we've seen that formation work better. We are going to that, but I think we've seen it work better.
Yeah, and I think we'll come on to the kind of midfield too and why that maybe was slightly better.
Right, let's hit Nkunku. So we're trying to get through these players quick because obviously it's two different teams each half. So Nkunku, go on.
He had a mixed game. He looked very dangerous going forward and probably is better in this left wing back rather than left back position because then he looks slightly vulnerable at left back. I can remember the odd time he got back into a good position to clear at left back, but at the end of the day, the second goal, he should have been with his man, and he was nowhere near Saka. So I can only really give him a 6, even though he did well going forward and created our opening shot on target.
Yeah, with Nkunku, I'll give you my thoughts watching the game shortly. I'm watching it because I'm crying out for Nkunku to play. I'm a big fan. Why are you not playing? Why did you loan him? I'm saying to myself. So they play Nkunku, and he bombs it forward, and he has that chance. He nearly scores, doesn't he? And I'm thinking, yes, this is why I said playing. This is the Nkunku I'm talking about. And then all of a sudden, Lampard has a word with him, like talking to him. I'm thinking, Lampard, why are you talking to him? And then Nkunku goes and leaves his man, doesn't even get goal side of his man. He wasn't tracking back. And he did it again and he didn't track back. And the simplest thing, just stay goal side of your man because the man was ahead of him. And then he's always going to beat you. And he did him a couple of times. And I thought, well, this is the reason. These are the problems that they're seeing in him. So finally, at least we got to see what they were seeing and why they haven't been playing him that much. But like you say, I'm 50-50. I've seen a good attacking player in him, but maybe you need someone behind him. Maybe he's better as a winger because he wasn't good both parts, was he? So I'm going to give him a 6, the same as you.
He probably would have done better where Delhi is on that lineup there.
A lot of people are saying play Mikalenko behind him and him in front of him because it's like double whammy. 2 left backs, stronger cover.
It's like playing Tony Hibbert and Phil Neville in front and Heitinger. And you remember when we used to play about 6 different right backs?
I know, just because you couldn't get one per. That seems what we're doing at the minute because you can't get a person to play in the position. We're playing 2 players in that position. And when you look at this formation, that kind of what it is for me. It's like you don't trust your 4 defenders, so you'll add a wing back and a wing back to help them out.
Yeah. Should we move on to the midfield too, or
Yeah, go on, Tom.
What did you make of the midfield too?
Didn't work for me. Didn't work. I was hoping it would work. I bigged up Tom before the game and said, "Let's see." I think Tom was all right, but he passed it quick, which you want. He moved it about, but he just couldn't break the lines, get past the lines and get through the lines and get it to Ali. He couldn't get past that Arsenal midfield. He passed in front of the Arsenal midfield, but he couldn't make that killer pass to get through them. Do you know what I mean? So, on Tom, I'm going to give him a 5, which is lower than 6.
I was going to give him a 5 as well. It might be a bit harsh. He did try and look for forward passes. He was tidy, but he didn't really offer enough.
No.
Not enough creativity in that role. He was up against the 3 midfield from Arsenal, so he was constantly looking for Odegaard behind him whilst having a block of 2 in front of him whenever he get the ball. So it's very tricky, that position in that sort of system.
Like you say, you got the formations up before, which was good for you to do. They had 3 in centre midfield, and you put their formation. There you go. Look, you put that against Decore and Davis. They've got an advantage, haven't they? They have got an advantage because even if you pass the ball past Odegaard, through that space, you still got Xhaka and the other lad coming at you as well. You still got them coming at you.
Lad, yeah.
Yeah, so
but I think
it was harder.
Decore was able to offer a lot more in the game, and I don't know whether this was down to his personal fitness level, but he seemed to be a bit more effective on the team, especially in a transition.
I'm with you on Decore. I can't. He's getting a lot of stick. Decore is. He is getting a lot of stick, and I just don't think he's getting used right to his strengths. We know what his strengths and weaknesses are. We know he's not the best passer possession player, but he is an engine, and he can make the odd good long pass, which he showed for me when he made that pass to Calvert-Lewin. He nearly put him in. He looked up, not the long ball. It was on Calvert-Lewin, couldn't take it down. But if Calvert-Lewin did take that down, that was a good assist from Decore from nothing, really. So he did show potential. And I liked Decore when he was, when he had a proper argument. He was the main man. He was angry. He showed some passion, didn't he? He did show some passion. He was like, even though it was a friendly, he does want to play well for us. And that's good for me, that he does want to play well for us. So I'm going to give Decore a 7. I don't think it was an incredible game, but I do think he tried hard.
Well, I think it proved that we seem to be more effective on those bursting runs when you've got Dele Alli running in behind and Calvert-Lewin to latch onto, and you've got Takuri who can break from deep. I think that seemed more of an effective way of hurting Arsenal in that first half than when we tried to pass it out. I mean, it will take a lot of time before we can perfect the passing game, and probably against the top six, we will have to play a more conservative style of football anyway with the long ball. But we can be effective in that, so I've got no problems if we mix it up.
What are you giving him? What mark are you giving him?
I'll give him a 7. What did you give him?
7. I'll give him a 7 as well. Here we go. We're on the same wavelength. This is why we go together, because we think the same things. Right. So far, we've given everyone the same, I think. Patterson.
Yeah, Patterson. He didn't do anything. I can't remember anything he did. I mean, he had Martinelli, he's a quick, direct player, up against him, and I think he felt like he couldn't get forward. He didn't really get forward. I think he might have had one cross. I can't really give him more than a 5 for that.
Yeah, do you know what? I'm going to go into Patterson on the second team, to be fair. And I'm not going to grill him too much. First of all, I'm not going to grill any of these too much because it's the first game. But I will observe them because that's what you have to do. That's what Frank's doing. And it's just good to look at your players because we got to see a lot of them. And with Patterson, I think he's got it all. And he obviously has the way they talk about him. But I do feel like he needs to gain a lot of confidence. He doesn't seem like he's got the confidence on the ball to say, I'm this, come at me. I'll bomb it past you. I'll score goals. I'll knock balls in the box, have assists. He doesn't seem to have that sort of confidence. We need to get that out of him because he's going to be playing for us right back. But he just, do you know that part where he got forward in a good position and he hit it too early? He dragged the pass back too early, and we probably could have scored from that chance. And he rushed it, and I think you could tell he thought, you know what? Ball. He was scared. He was nervous. He thought, this is my big chance. This is where I could make me an Everton player. You don't want to be thinking like that. You've got to be thinking, I'm 100% going to make us score.
And I think we'll come on to the second team as Stanley Mills played there. Yeah. And I think we'll probably compare that a bit later on because I think he was the opposite of what you're describing.
Yeah, that's probably why I am saying what I'm saying, because what I've seen from Stanley Mills when we go on to him is what I wanted Patterson to be. And I'm not saying he won't be that, but it's just he needs to try and put that in his game, what Stanley Mills did. But Patterson, I'm going to give him a 6 because I wanted the Conqueror Patterson to shine more than what they did, and they didn't say wow. So I'm going to give him a 6. On to Dele Alli. Just again to people, if you're tuning in and listening, like and subscribe. We want to get our subscribers up, and if you could subscribe and like, we'd love it. Please do so. Dele Alli. Go on, you go first.
He just struts around. I want him to do well, so but I'm not seeing anything from him. He barely touched the ball in the whole half. I'm gonna have to give him a 4. I think
he's gone low.
He needs to play in his natural position. It's not his fault that he's on the wing. He can't offer anything on the wing.
I don't think it's even his fault he got a 4 from me, is it really? I think it's more that he doesn't suit that tactic. He doesn't suit it. Because unless you can... Ali is most effective when you've got possession. You can't use him unless you've got possession. You've got to get on the ball and get him on the ball. We couldn't get on the ball to get the ball to him, so he's running around like a headless chicken trying to get on the ball. He's just trying to get on the ball, and he's just wasting energy because he can't get. He did try though, didn't he? They was all booing him big time. They was proper booing him. He did try, but he just couldn't get in the game. I'm going to give him a
ball. He picked up the ball, and he just didn't really have many options apart from going backwards. And the whole team around him are rather static. I don't know whether the fitness plays a part, because you really want players who are going to be running into space to receive the ball and shouting for it. And our players seem to just stick in their positions and wait for the ball to get recycled round. What were you going to rate him?
I'm going to give him a 5. I won't be as harsh as you and give him a 4. but I'll give him a 5 because it's still not a good game, is it, if you get a 5, is it? That's not a good score. On to the next one. This is going to be an interesting one as well. Gray. And I will say something about Gray. Took me a while to see he was playing. I didn't notice he was on the pitch for a while, and I looked at the lineup at the start of the game, but it made me his performance made me forget he was playing. And I've massively big Gray up, but I just like Ali. This position didn't work for these two, did it? He didn't get into the game. He really didn't get into the
No,
game.
and I think something I was going to come on to in a tactical thing is that Gray was playing as an inside forward with Dele Alli, not as a winger. And I don't think he suits that role. And I don't think he knows where to go. I think he's used to being on the line and running down the line and taking a player on and whipping a ball in.
Yeah, I agree with you completely. What you've just said is bang on, because Gray works when you've got Gray on one side, Gordon on the other. Your left back and your right back stays back because you don't need to get on forward. And Gray and Gordon do the work on the wings. They stay on the wing and they destroy players on the wing. That's where it works for me. I'm going to give Gray. I'm going to give him a 5. I was going to give him a 4 then.
I think I pigeonholed myself to give him a 4 because I've given Dele a 4. I can't.
I was going to give him a 4, but then I gave Dele a 5. I could give them both, same as you, easily a 4, because they just didn't. Not because they were poor, just because they couldn't get into the game whatsoever. I think it was tactics.
They didn't touch the ball. I mean, the likes of Holgate and Godfrey didn't have good games, but they did get on the ball and they were involved in the game. So
we've got to looking at that. We've got to. Sorry to put in. We've got to blame Davis and Doucouré a little bit for that if they haven't got them in the game whatsoever, because that's their job as centre midfielders.
Yeah. And what about Dom up front?
Well, I was massive. I said he was going to get a hat-trick at the start, just as a joke, but I did think he'd score a goal. He made the movements, he made the runs, no service whatsoever. So it really was. But maybe he could have took that Doucouré thing down. He made the runs a couple of times. He was offside. I think Dom's going to be good. He showed the fitness that he's going to be back, but
he's not the really impact that he had on chances, is he? He got that one chance from Doucouré, which was right onto his chest. If he'd hit it first time, maybe it was a difficult chance. That's all he got for 45 minutes, and we've got to do better than that for Dom.
It's not enough. No service. So just on that, I'm going to give him a 6. Just on that, he just didn't get the ball. Not on his performance, really. Just that he was in the game. He was a 6 performer because he didn't really do anything. But that wasn't his fault again.
Yeah, I'll give him a 5 because he wasn't involved that much. He struggled for hold-up play for some parts. He did win a few of his battles, but he was kind of taken out of it a bit by their number 12. I can't remember his name. He's just back from, I think, a loan.
Is it Gabriel or Gabriel or something like that?
Gabriel,
the one that we was in for, yeah.
Yeah, but the other fellow also stopped him. Saliba. He couldn't really get in the game enough. So let's just have a little look at what I was saying before about this team tactically, because what worries me from this 11 was the style of play. Obviously, it's work in progress, but I'm not seeing any natural pattern of how we intend to score. It's all very much, let's hope we can get the ball in a dangerous area and finish it. And I think the intention of this team, as it is on paper now, going forward, it looks okay. I think. I don't know if you'd agree. You've got Dele and Gray in the pockets. You've got the overlapping wing backs. You've got natural sort of left and right centre backs who can defend in wide positions, and have got a bit of pace with Mina in the middle as the commander. But I think what actually happened was it became this. I think it became a rather static back five with the two fullbacks slightly ahead, and then very open midfield line with Davies and Doucouré having to cover the entire centre. And then you've got Gray and Dele playing this inside role, which they're not really suited to. And I felt like this doesn't make the most of Calvert-Lewin. I think this was the same in the second half in terms of formation. I think we were just better distributed across the pitch. We were able to get the fullbacks higher up in the second half. But I don't think moving forward, if we're going to play with this sort of formation and always be sucked into a back five, by the time we get up the pitch, because we've already got 5, 6, 7 defenders back, we're going to struggle to break any team down because they're going to get men behind the ball. and we're relying off crosses off. Basically, what I'm trying to say is in this system where Arsenal were coming onto us and we didn't have the ball. When we got the ball, we had so many defenders back that we had to rely on counter attacks. And with Dele Alli and Gray in the central positions rather than on the wing, they were always met by centre backs from Arsenal. They were never in a position to cross the ball into Calvert-Lewin in a dangerous area. And for me, it just didn't really work.
I like that you've got that on the screen. You're good with these gadgets, you are, Basil, because what I'm seeing here, I'm trying to think, how can we make this work? Because this is a formation that Lampard uses. And why did it work better for me in the second half? I think, looking at that, you need a number 6. You need someone to sit in front of that defence. Like, say, Davis, he's the number 6. Davis sits in front of the defence. Then you put someone, Dele. It's Dele and Gray that don't work for me. Then you put someone at the side of Decore, attacking midfielders, box-to-box players. And do you know what I mean? So it's like a kind of a 3-1, and then you get the 3 together and just Calvert-Lewin up front. Then it works better for me looking at that. I just think you need a number 6 because Dele Alli and Gray stay up there, don't get the ball, do nothing. I'd rather replace them with midfielders that will come back and get the ball and receive the ball and get the ball to Calvert-Lewin, because I keep looking at that and just thinking Gray and Dele are out the game, non-effective.
Yeah. You just wonder whether this really would suits us against Arsenal or against City, who play this fluid possession football. And it's a shame I don't really have the tool to embed Arsenal's team on top of our team in the positions. But you'd see Odegaard right in this gap here between the lines.
You can imagine it. I know what you're saying. He did get just in front of the back forward, didn't he?
You've got static defenders here which are not involved in the game because you've got one striker occupying 3 and then they're 3 in between the lines. And you've got their 2 in behind to win the ball back, and these are left isolated up front. I don't think we can play this sort of formation against those sorts of teams. Or if we do, we have to get Godfrey to do a little bit of what he did, which was coming out and trying to press onto the attacker who's dropped into that half space. But that leaves gaps in here. And you've got a comment here from SM saying he doesn't think the 3-4-3 will work for us. It needs time to be perfected. The 2 behind the front men need to be elite and skillful. City, Spurs, Chelsea will exploit the gap behind the fullbacks. So he's raised that point about the fullbacks, but also about the importance of this, which he's very correct with, that these 2 players have a pivotal role. And I think it worked better in the second half, personally, with the players we brought into these positions.
100%.
If you're ready to move on to that.
Yeah, I was just going to sneeze then. This hot weather's got me sneezing. Hay fever.
So Everton in the second half was more like this.
You're getting me excited now, because I enjoyed this a lot better. A lot better.
Even despite having these 4 youngsters, personally felt we've played a lot better. And the comments seem to be agreeing. Second half team much better when they were mainly the kids.
Are you surprised? Are you surprised that they took the opportunity this much better? Like, that was a lot better second half. I honestly believe if you put this team out that first half, it would have been 0-0 still. I really do. And we'll go through some of these players. Even though they had a stronger team, I just feel that this team that come out second half could have took on a stronger team, could have took on their first team, because I would have backed Tarkowski to stop Jesus. I 100% would have. I think Mikalenko and Welsh would have done a lot better job on Saka down that side. I would have fancied this a lot more against them that first half, and I don't feel that. I think the centre mid was a lot better as well. We'll go into it all, but I feel that this team would have done better than what that first team did on that first half, even though they was up against a better Arsenal.
I agree with you, but it's really hard to know, because obviously the Arsenal team was different. It's interesting that Arsenal didn't change their whole team second half. They only changed 5 players, I think. So they got the same sort of back 2. They changed the fullbacks. They kept those 2 midfielders. They brought El Neni in, which is slightly defensive change, really. I don't think he was playing that high up. And then they had Maitland-Niles and Nketiah came on.
Still a pretty strong team, that is, because Nketiah absolutely destroyed us that last game of the season, didn't he? He was a proper nuisance where he didn't do nothing this time. And like the centre midfielders, like you say, they've kept both of the best centre midfielders on. So
the core of the team is here, the four of them and these three. And then you've got these three have come in, basically.
So we did well. It's good. You've got good gadgets here, mate. You've got good gadgets because we proper get to see, and we're showing you, people listening as well. We can't put your comments up too much because we're trying to analyse ourselves, but we're definitely going to read them. So keep commenting and stuff like that. What you think on what we're thinking as well.
Arsenal did switch to a back three at times in that second half. From what I saw, they had Martinelli playing at left wing back at times. I think that's something they're working on in their pre-season, whether they can be adaptable in formation. I think we need to be adaptable in formation between the same kind of two formations that they're looking at. But it's a strong team. I think this came into effect more when we were taking a bit of control in the first 20 minutes of that. In that second half, I think we had the beating of them, I would say, in that first 20 minutes. We seemed to be on top.
We got on the ball, didn't we? We did what we couldn't do first off. We started to get on the ball. And how
much of that was down to fitness as well? Having, the full team changed versus the 6 players who were still played 45 minutes.
It could be massively down to that. But I also think the reason we got on the ball is because you've got 2 centre-backs there. As much as a lot of people don't like Keane and Tarkowski can pass the ball. They can pass the ball. And they showed it. Tarkowski, I was so amazed with how calm he was on the ball. Like, he was really. We'll go through these players now. Then let's go through these. Give them markings. We'll make it quick because this is an hour. We're going to try and make it an hour. We've got other stuff to talk about, so we'll make it quick with you. You put what you think in the comments. Mikalenko, what you're going to go for? Thoughts and number?
Are we not going from Krellin?
Oh yeah, well, we need to do the goalkeeper, don't we? Go on. He was that good.
Billy,
I'm going to give him a 10.
I thought he was pretty good. He was sharp off his line to meet one of the counterattacks in behind. I think he dealt with everything pretty well. So I'll give him, for his first appearance, I'll give him an 8.
Yeah, do you know where they was through and he come out off his line really quick and he got on and he cleared it. He could have been in then if he didn't do that. He's obviously switched on to do that, and I've watched him training and he's pulled off some cracking saves. So I'm going to give him a 9 because he didn't make no mistakes. He was a clean sheet. Yeah. I can't remember him making absolutely no mistakes. So I could even give him a 10 for making no mistakes, but he didn't have to save that much. So I'm not going to give him a 10. I'm going to give him a 9.
Okay. And then
Mikalenko.
I
keep looking at Mikalenko. I don't know why. Back 3. Here we go. Who are you going for first?
Welsh has no number because I don't know what number. He's not part of the first team technically. I think Welsh. He looked confident for a young centre back coming through. He looked confident alongside Keane. So I can't really complain at all. I give him an 8.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm going to give him an 8 as well. Do you know what though? I felt so much safer with Welsh playing at the side of Keane and Tarkowski. It's two good men to play at the side of that are going to help you. Like, what better? I know people don't like Keane, but like I say again, with Tarkowski, they was a good partnership. So I'm going to give him the same as you. But it's crazy how this is a lot better partnership than what Holgate. I'm looking at this and I'm thinking Tarkowski, I'm safe. Keane with Tarkowski, I'm safe. Welsh with them for 2, I'm safe. So I'm confident. Where with the other one, I'm thinking Holgate's going to make a mistake. Godfrey. He'll do what he does, but he's not that good on the ball. And then I thought Mina, I don't know what he's going to do either. So the other one, I was a bit scared. This one, I'm happy with.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yeah,
so what about
looks better.
Keane and Tarkowski then? You were impressed with them?
Yeah, I'm really impressed with Keane. A lot of people have said to me that Keane's going to be better this season. I think he will with Tarkowski. He didn't have a good season last season, but hopefully it will change. I'm going to give Keane... no mistakes, really. Good on the ball. I'll give him a 9.
Yeah, I thought that they were particularly on this right-hand side, our attacks seemed to build out of this corner, and they weren't afraid to pass the ball in
No.
sort of very close range to each other with Arsenal players pressing onto them, and they kept it quite well, all three of them, Keane, Tarkowski and Mills, and Warrington when he came over. So yeah, I think I'll give him a 9 as well.
It's hard not to talk about the other players we're going to talk about when you know they was part of Keane being good, because that midfield that we're going to talk about, the movement was a lot better in front of them. So they could pass it better.
I think Tarkowski for me as well was a 9. I think he was one of our best players in that half. I think he was commanding.
I love him.
You know, he was protective of the other players, like right at the end. And he just looks like a leader, and he looks so calm on the ball as well.
I love him. He's amazing. He's like all of our good centre-backs that we used to have. He's like Jagielka, Distan, Lescott. We've got a leader. Finally. How long did it took? We've finally got a leader at the back. I mean, I tweeted it, a video of him signing up for Mills and coming and saying, come at me. Don't mess with the kids. Come at me. Leave him alone. If you want to go at someone, go at me. I'm the leader of this defence. He's only just joined us, and he's already got that he's put that into our defence straight away. Tarkowski, he's going to be amazing, you know. He's going to be the difference. He is really, really going to be the difference. I'd love to play it alongside him if he's going to back you up like that. I'm going to give him a 10. If I could give him a 20, I'd give him a 20, mate. I'm going to give him top marks because that was a good debut, wasn't it? And I know Ryan, who's on the channel sometimes, he questions whether he's good on the ball. He was good on the ball, wasn't he?
Yeah, they were all
not scared
around that corner. He'll take the ball, and he knew when to hoof it. He did hoof a few times, but he didn't just hoof it. It kind of landed near Rondon.
He knew when to do it. And the thing is that the Arsenal players didn't press Tarkowski as much because they were scared of him, because they know he's going to make a killer pass that could mess their midfielders up. He knows what he's doing. And I think that's the problem with some of our players. They've got such a bad reputation. Other teams pounce on them. Where Tarkowski, they're probably thinking, you're a good defender. I'm not going to press you too much because you know what you're doing. You've got your head screwed on. And you could see that. And that was good. I can't buzz any more about Tarkowski, to be fair.
Let's talk about Mills, because he was right next to Tarkowski on that side, and he was coaching him through the game. And I thought he was excellent for a player that is not a right back or a right wing back. From what I understand, he's more of a right midfielder or a right attacker. Although I've heard Lampard possibly sees him in the role he played against Arsenal, or in that centre mid role. I've not seen him before. I was quite impressed by his tenacity and his aggression, and he took the ball by the horns, and he did what you wanted Patterson to do in that first half, didn't he?
Yes, he was everything I wanted Patterson to be. Like same as you. I'll tell you a quick story. I thought that Patterson was still on. Looked a bit similar. I'm only watching on a small screen, but I could see everything, but it was small. And I thought Patterson was still on. I thought, yes, Patterson, finally, you're staying on the ball and you look like you're confident. And then I looked further into it and I thought, that's not Patterson. And I didn't know who Mills was. I didn't know who he was. But Tarkowski and Keane kept pinging the ball to him, and he was pinging it back or pinging it to the midfielder, knocking it through to Iwobi in the little tight gaps, not being in trouble, saying to the Arsenal team, come at me. And when you come at me, I'm going to put a pass through to make us go and attack. And I thought, this is the right back that you need. And if you're going to play this formation that we're playing now, you need your wing backs to be like him, because he was very, very good on the ball. And he made this formation work for me. And he really good. And I looked him up straight after, and Mills can play right. This is new for him, right back. That's not his position. But because it's right wing back and he plays right wing sometimes, they've tried him at this and it worked. But he plays number 10 mainly and scores a lot of goals in the academy. He does score a lot of screamers. So I'm starting to think he could break the team. I don't know what you think, but I think he could break the team.
From what I saw, there's every chance he could embed himself. Lampard said he played so well last year in the youth, and he's had a really good few weeks training with the first team, so he could definitely be involved in the squad.
Just nice to see, because we can't get like possession. Keeping possession is so easy. These are professional footballers. All you've got to do is just pass the ball to your players and have a bit of like balls. Not be scared. pass it into the gaps, play it past that line, play that killer pass. He had that. It was just nice to see a player that's got that. We'll move on to Mikalenko now because I could talk about Mills all day. He was classic. I'm going to give him, what mark are you giving him? I'm giving him a 9.
Mills?
Yeah.
Yeah, I gave him a 9.
Yeah, you gave him a 9. I knew you gave him I didn't know what you gave him. Right, 9. So we're giving him a 9. Mikalenko?
I'm giving him a 7. I thought he had a good game, but I mean, he didn't do a huge amount. He was solid on that left side, picked up the ball, his passing was fine. He tried to get forward. His starting position was pretty good for me. He wasn't dragged back too much. Maybe that was because of Arsenal's changes, but I thought he was solid half.
Yeah, he didn't do anything incredible, but you felt like he was a lot more solid defending than Nkunku. And he did try and get on the ball a lot. Yeah, I think, did he get a yellow card? He made one bad tackle, but other than that, he was decent. So I'm going to give him a 7 as well. Nothing too bad there. He was just a steady game.
Now we'll move on to this. This is interesting, these two.
Yes.
We've got the injury-prone Jean-Philippe Gbamin, and we got to see him for the first time since, I don't know, back when he played away at Wolves, I think, maybe. That was the last time he's had a proper run out for us.
Yeah, they said last season, I don't look into it because I don't want to know, but they were saying last season, well, I do want to know, but I just didn't want to get too excited with Gbamin because of his injuries. But they were saying he was getting man of the match every game last season. Who was out on loan to, and then Russia. Yeah, they were saying he was playing really well. So I thought, all right, fair enough. See what he does when he gets back. He come back and he was the same player that was getting man of the match, wasn't he? Really good.
I thought he was very good. I mean, he is. You can see he's not quite the CDM that you think you hope he would be. He's more of a Decore. He's more of that aggressive, physical, box-to-box player. But I think he could be really useful if he can maintain his fitness, don't get injured, and develop a chemistry with the other players. He's not had the chance to play with them for more than a game or two.
But it's not even like you put Gbamin in with an experienced player. You put these two in together that haven't played together. This is a young kid with Gbamin, and it was a really, really good combo. I felt comfortable.
I think he I think he got a yellow card because I think he got slightly exposed on the turn. Arsenal got away from him, and I think there was a big gap behind him with those two in midfield. But I think we are in this formation going to have times where players get in that gap, and with not having a third man in midfield, we're going to have to make fouls like that. But he knew when to do it.
It was a good tactical foul. Plus, like you've just said, if you play this formation, we was attacking at that point. If you play this formation, when that happens, these centre-backs have got to push high and step in and put the tackles in as soon as one of those centre-backs have been done. That's the whole point of this formation, is that back three is high near the halfway line. You've got to play it really high. But like you say, he got caught out once. But other than that, at least he was taking risk. The only reason he did get caught out was because Gbamin and Warrington was really trying to get the ball forward. They was being proper midfielders, taking risks, getting on the ball, taking chances. So I'm going to give Gbamin 8.
Yeah, Paul says he's been watching them and he likes what he sees.
Yes.
Yeah, I was going to give Gbamin an 8 as well.
Yeah, really good game. Maybe he can play the 6 if Lampard gets it in him. Maybe he can. Big lad. Just gets a bit better on the ball.
For me, he doesn't look positionally disciplined enough to be. Lampard, I think he spoke about the player he needs. He said he's looking for someone who's got a natural ability to play that 6 role with defensive discipline.
If that's the case, though, on what you've just said, very good competition for Decore. Similar player you just said earlier on, didn't you? Similar sort of player to Decore, but had a better game. It's good to have backup for Decore because he got burnt out last season. So that's good competition. We definitely need competition in that centre mid, because we were saying on this channel not so long ago that it was very thin. I think we talked about Gbamin and we put him out of the picture, but he's definitely back in it now. So on to this one. A lot of people talking about him. A lot of people like him or love him. Warrington, what did you think?
Warrington, I liked what I saw. I haven't seen him play yet. I've heard very good things about him from his loan last year. I liked him. He was that player that we were looking for to drop into the half space, collect the ball, and pass it off. Even when it's a simple pass, he can kind of play that role. He's obviously more of a natural CDM. He can play that role as the anchor and distribute the ball.
I don't like putting players down so you start the season, but I think he's better than Davis, you know. I think he's better than Davis. I think Warrington is better than Davis. The reason being is because Warrington's got that low sense of gravity where he can turn. He'll turn into space. So if he's got a player up his arse and he receives the ball, because he was receiving the ball, he wanted it all the time, and he'll get the ball into his feet and he'll turn the player, and that's how you open things up. That's how you get the ball. He wasn't on the pitch, but that's how you get the ball to Ali then. That's how you get the ball to the front people. And you need players like Warrington. I think he'll get a big chance. He was good, wasn't he? Very good. I'm going to give him a 9 because I thought he was good.
Yeah, I think I'm going to give him a 9 as well because I think he was as good as the other ones I gave a 9 to. Let's move on to the kind of attacking cams or slightly wide cams. Gordon and Iwobi. Should we start with Gordon? I thought he had a good game.
Here he is, Starboy Gordon.
I think he's going to be integral to the season. I think
he's something else, isn't he? Do you know what Gordon looks like? Even against the big teams, Gordon looks like he's coming on and playing against people that are like kids. He does, doesn't he? He looks like he's on a different planet to him. He looks like he can take anyone on. His confidence is getting so much better. He's still got to get his final pass better. He's still got to get his shots better, but he can do anything. And that's his problem. That's what he's struggling with now because he knows he can do anything. So we don't know when to stop because he thinks I can take you on and I'll take you on as well. But maybe you shouldn't take the second player on. Too confident. But that's not bad. That's not a bad thing. That can be managed. But Gordon, when he come on, you felt like you could get a goal, didn't you, just from him getting on the ball? Really, really good. And he did some good link-up play with Warrington. I don't know if you've seen it. But I thought Warrington and Gordon, they did do you know that where they had a short, fast counter-attack pass and they flicked it, fast flicks, fancy flicks. And I thought, you know what? These could work well together, Warrington and Gordon, because they played together in the academy.
I think they just looked sharp. The two of them just looked like they wanted the ball. Gordon always looks like he's happy to receive the ball whenever and take it past whoever's facing him. And even if he can't get, through them, he'll pass it off. He won't lose the ball.
He'll always. Well, if you compare, we've been looking at all the players. I know we said we didn't get the ball to Gray, but you feel like Gordon would have got the ball no matter what. He dropped back in the end, didn't he? He come back and get, no matter what, he will get the ball. He searches for it. That's the word. Yes, Basil. He does search for it.
Body up and he comes looking for the ball, whereas Dele Alli stands up there waiting for it.
Yeah, he just doesn't know what to do. Where Gordon's got the confidence to say, this is my game and I'll get into the game no matter what. The best footballers do it. They find a way to get into the game. You see Harry Kane, if he gets no service, he drops back and he'll give the players around him service. You've got to be clever in football. I'm going to give Gordon a 9 because I thought he was class.
I'm going to give him an 8, but in that first half, we were too static. The players didn't look like they wanted to use their energy to come searching for the ball, to come into pockets, to allow themselves to receive the ball. They were too happy to stand around. I thought this second half team were much more happy to put a bit more energy into kind of receiving the ball. The likes of Iwobi and Gordon would drop in and get on the ball.
Yeah, pass and move, wasn't it? That's what it was. Pass and move, simple. Stuff you see on the training ground. We've seen these drills got released today. Pass and move, pass and move. I don't know if you've seen it. Lampard sitting right next to him, looking at him. He wants them to do it. Pass and move. It's simple, but you've got it. They don't do it in the big games.
He says enjoy the ball, but they certainly didn't enjoy it in the first half. Let's move on to Iwobi.
Iwobi, He was better on the ball, wasn't he? You felt more confident with him on the ball. He tried a few moves, cutting. He had that break where he got took out and he looked like he was going to be in. He had a shot. I'm going to give Iwobi 8. I thought he looks better, doesn't he? He looks more hungry. He wasn't consistent. He hasn't been that good for Everton over the last couple of seasons, but at the end of the season, he was consistently good and he looks like he's consistently going to be good again this season. He's on it. Yeah, I do think he played well. He's like, I don't know whether you listened to Iwobi's interview. He loves Lampard, doesn't he? He proper loves Lampard. My boss says this. Whatever he says, I trust him. I trust my boss. The connection's there, and that shows me why Iwobi's better now, because he connects with the manager better. So Iwobi, like I say, I'll give him an 8. He was good.
Yeah,
Like the comment just said as well.
I'm giving him an 8 as well. I thought he was good. I thought he came to receive the ball. I think his fitness is high, and you can see that in the videos. He's picked up from where he was last season almost, and kept it going.
Well, he said that, didn't he? He said, "I'm surprised my fitness was what it was when I come back, because I didn't really do anything." He said it was my fitness was naturally good, which shows that his fitness is really good. If he said that.
But it's also his confidence and his awareness. I think he's better in midfield, to be honest. But because I think you look at his, and Matty's asking where do we think his best position is. I think he's better in the 3 on the left hand side, where he played a couple of matches in the back end of last season, and I don't think he has the quality in that forward position to pick out a good cross. But I think he's got the awareness to play an inside through ball, or just keep the ball ticking and wheel the ball in that midfield.
100%. I think he'll be better when you can keep possession. When you can keep possession, he looks like there's some players you look at and you think they're not helping us keep possession, but he looks like he can help us keep it. I laughed at him when he said he's a number 10, but maybe he could play that number 10 sometimes.
Paul saying about the right wing.
Yeah, he can play. I'd say right wing, but if we didn't have a number 10 available, I definitely think he could play in the number 10 position.
Yeah, I think he could. I think it's really him or Dele in that 10 position at the moment.
4-3-3, you would probably have him on the right, like someone's just said in the comments. I agree with the person in the comments. Keep the comments coming. We'll read them after. If we don't read them out, keep them coming. It's hard to read them out on this.
We've got Rondon as the last one.
I got grilled for this. I thought Rondon had a really well. I didn't get grilled. It's just people don't like to say good stuff about Rondon. I thought he had a really good game.
Yeah, I thought he was decent. I think his fitness is
better.
Looks a lot better than when he started last preseason.
Obviously, a lot better. He's lost a lot of weight, hasn't he? His face looks slimmer and everything. He doesn't look. I watched him in the training clips today when there was pinging the ball about. He doesn't look like Rondon anymore. He's really put a shift in his fitness. And I'm not saying he's going to be like number 1, but if he comes on and puts a shift in and scores some goals when he comes on, he'll help us out.
Yeah, I agree with you. I thought he put a shift in. He was a bit unlucky. He had that effort that was when the keeper was off the line. He didn't have a huge amount of service really, apart from that. I think
he holded it up though, didn't he, Basil? Do you know when Warrington and some of the players, Gordon was pinging the ball into him?
Yeah.
Sometimes he tried to hold it up and lost it because he had real pressure on him, but he did really hold the ball up, and he looked a different player. He looked hungry. At the end of the day, if we pay his wages, we've got to make sure that when he does come on the pitch, he's going to be on it, and he looked decent.
He's got to be on it because he's striker number 2.
Yes, we ain't got anyone else yet.
Yeah. One thing you were touching on with Iwobi being so good was I was thinking about, under Rafa, we had sort of Gray and Townsend were the ones who were really pulling up the trees. And I think now Lampard's come in, it's more Gordon and Iwobi that are looking more dangerous than those two. I think obviously the manager affects each individual player because of how they work with him and his system and his man-on-man kind of relationship. And I think we've seen the best coming out of Iwobi and Gordon recently. When you look at this lineup, I know we've now been through everyone. We're just reaching an hour. Is there anyone you're screaming from the first lineup that you would bring in to make a kind of team of the match and maybe a kind of more first 11? Would you want to see this team more than the other team moving forward? And who would you bring in from the other team?
It's a hard one, isn't it, to pick who's going to... At least we have got options. I definitely would start Keane and Tarkowski. Maybe Godfrey comes in with them. Like, maybe it'd be Keane, Tarkowski. If he was going to play this formation, I don't think he's going to play the same formation next game. He's trying every formation because the more formations you can play, the more you can hurt teams. It's as simple as that. That's what he's doing. We need to master every formation, because if there's a formation that can really hurt a team and Everton can't play it, we're massively missing out. So we need to be able to play every formation, and people grill him for playing this, but we can't play this formation, so we need to learn how to play it. But I definitely would have Tarkowski, Keane, and Godfrey in that formation. It would work better. I probably would play Warrington and Gabam, I'd give them another go, but I'd probably play another centre midfielder with them, if you know what I mean, just
would
in
you
front.
like to see Warrington just dropping in here and then Decore, who had a good game, breaking forward? So you've got two players breaking forward, or would you be more tempted to bring Iwobi into the midfield? Or
it's always hard with Iwobi because you don't want to leave Iwobi out, but then sometimes you put others in for him, don't you?
Yeah, I think at the moment we're not obviously picking the best team. I mean, let's just talk about Minnesota quickly. We're playing them on, is it Wednesday? Well, Thursday early morning, 1 a.m. How do you view the team for that? Would you play if you were Lampard, are you playing your supposed best team to experiment with? Do you think this team he had out here was the second string and that's why it played in the second half? How do you view that?
I don't think he'll play the same formation that game. Do you, against Minnesota? By the way, on that game, what time was it? You say it is? Telling everybody the time and stuff.
1 a.m. on
I
Thursday.
will be doing, if you get on my Twitter name, that's my Twitter name. If you find me on Twitter, that's my Twitter name. If you find me on Twitter, I'll be doing a space at 1 a.m. talking about the game, like before the game, halftime talk, and after the game talk. And you can come on and you can speak as well. Anybody can speak. It's just sometimes it's good to just connect. So yeah, I'll be doing that. But on that game, I think. What do you think? Well, just to talk about that game, what do you think he'll play? What are you going to play that game, Basil?
I'm worried that Lampard's saying he's playing this formation purely because of the numbers he's got in the squad, and that therefore he's playing three centre backs for the sake of it. If he's not going to play three centre backs moving into the Chelsea match, I don't want to see him persist with this formation. We have only got 3 more friendly games, which for me is just ridiculous. I just can't understand why we haven't had the 6. We always have 6. Going back, we've always had 6. Arsenal, Liverpool, Chelsea, they're all playing more than us. Before we played Arsenal, I'm sure Liverpool and Palace and United had played 2 games each, and Arsenal. Somebody needs to tell me what's going on here, because Lampard says we're behind them. Well, why are we behind them? We're going to play the same day they're going to play our first match in the Premier League.
You'd think it'd all be the same. It must just be because, I don't know, actually, because they've played their game. And I was going to say it's because we're in America, but they've played in America as well, and they've already started earlier. Maybe he's given more of a break than what he should have. I don't know. Maybe he's relaxed about it all, but he did say that they've had more games than us. But like you said, why have they had more games than us? You should give no other team an advantage. Whatever they've had, you should get as well. You should be, especially when we need it. We was in a relegation battle last season, and we don't know who we are, and we need to learn things. So it's definitely a mistake, and I'm sure we'll learn from it. What my team would be, I'm just going to say this quick on this game, because we're going to shoot this off. But my team would be, I play 4-3-3. Mikalenko, Tarkowski, Keane. I'm going to keep them 2 as a partnership. Then I'm going to play Mills. I'm going to play Mills right back, even above Patterson. I just want to see him again. Give Patterson a second half or something this time, switch it round. But I just want to see him again because he was good. Then I'd play 3 centre midfielders. I play Gabami, Decore, and Warrington. Don't know whether you think that's good, but I want to see Warrington again. I want to see Gabami again. And Decore is probably one that will get used, won't he? So yeah. I wouldn't mind. It feels more stable, doesn't it? Gabami, Decore, and Warrington. It could be a good combination. You've got 2 really fast players, engines, with Warrington, who's good on the ball. And then I want to see Gordon on the left-hand side, Calvert-Lewin up top, and then probably Iwobi on the right.
Yeah, I mean, that doesn't sound far off what I would go with. And I think we've got to bear in mind that we are playing a team that are, we're playing a mid-season MLS team. So they're peak of fitness they are, and we're not. So we've got that. Is going to make up
I
the
think we'll
quality
beat them. I
difference.
do. I think we'll beat them.
Yeah, Julian says we can't even master one formation. Never mind them all.
I know. We really do struggle with that formation.
I just think that formation, I just don't want to see it because it just turns into that.
Shouldn't be that hard though. Those kids showed how to play that formation second half. They showed they could play it.
Yeah,
but that first half they couldn't.
They did, but it's still. I mean, we've had comments and I haven't been able to put many
chuck a
of them
few
up.
in. Chuck a few in if you can.
Julian also said, Iwobi was good, but he didn't create shots or chances, and he's totally right. None of the attacking players did in that formation. Even in the second half, when you said it was better, we didn't create enough.
No, I think that you need 3 centre midfielders to get on the ball a bit more to create chances. That's why I said I'd play 3 centre midfielders, because
I think Frank's thinking we'll play 3 at the back. That will allow us to pass out better. But I mean, the argument is you better having 3 midfielders. Does that help you pass out better than 3 at the back? Or do you need 3 at the back so you can pass it round the back?
It is. I know what you're saying. It is confusing.
The ball will just go from Mina to Keane to Pickford, and then to the full back, and then back.
It's our centre midfielders don't come and get the ball off the 3 centre backs, first of all, in that first half. Plus the wing backs, your wing backs can't stay back. They've got to be forward all the time. All the time. They've got to be wingers, not wing backs. And we don't do that.
Yeah.
Have we got to, what was going to do about the kits getting released tomorrow? Was we doing anything on that, or are we just doing something on that tomorrow?
I think we were meant to mention it. But we're amongst everything else.
Ryan's going to have us. We've timed it bang on. We said an hour. We've gone through every player.
The kit's been leaked, has it? Or is what I've seen, the pink kit, is that it's not out, is it? It's just a leak.
It says it's the Hummel have said it's a scorching day tomorrow, red hot. The kit's going to be released tomorrow on a hot day.
Have you seen the leak of the kit?
I have seen the leak of the kit, yes. I bet everyone else has shown it anyway. Are we allowed to show it or not?
Well, I can't see why not, but...
Yeah, we'll show it because we want to be the first.
I just say Paul's saying he likes 4-4-2, but Paul, who plays in your 2 up front? Because Richarlison's gone.
Rondon and Calvert-Lewin.
Yeah.
It's true, though. It's true what you said. It's got to be a 4-5-1, hasn't it? Not 4-4-2.
I haven't actually got the kit to show, but I mean, how do we do that?
I haven't got it. It's in your WhatsApp group, isn't it? If you've got it on your WhatsApp group, just screenshot it.
Yeah,
show it.
You'll have to bear with me for a second. You'll have to talk about. There was a comment here you could talk about that I had.
Yep. So we're going to show you the kit. If you haven't seen it, I'm sure you've all already seen it because it's all over Twitter.
Someone was basically saying that Brozier is leaving the tour in Chelsea, and he's coming back to England to negotiate a deal with West Ham. They've not quite agreed the actual sale price yet, but they're talking in the region of 30 million.
25 with 5 million add-ons. I'm on it all the time. I read absolutely everything on this transfer window. I'm too hooked on it because I don't know. I'm probably sad, but I read. I always have done on these transfers. I get excited, always thinking we can sign some wonder player. But it's different this window because this window we're on budget, ain't we? We are on tight budget. That's why we've been paying things in installment for me. Yeah,
and I think we're going to miss out on players that we would like to get. But I don't know, 30 million for Brozier. I've not seen enough from him.
I'm not that bothered that we've missed out on it. Are you? I don't think. I'm not bothered. I think it could be a blessing in disguise. But one thing I will say, a lot of people on my Twitter accounts, that they're all saying, like, why don't you just cough up money up front? Why don't you just pay the money now, pay it up front? The reason that we can't pay the money straight away is because we've got a certain budget and we're trying to get the best deal out of every deal we get, because saving a bit of money on one deal could leave you a bit more to get a better player on the next deal. It's not going to be easy. We've only just the FFP is still on us big time. It's still up our arse. So we're dealing with FFP big time. So if we go and just cough up money, pay everything, get ourselves in trouble financially again, it's going to be on our back again, FFP. And we're going to struggle with it again and we'll never get out of it. So I'd rather us be stalling on deals, making sure we don't just mess ourselves up financially again. I'd rather us be doing that and next season be better and better and better financially to be able to get players and just cough up the money straight away again. That's what I want us to. Do you understand where I'm coming from, Basil?
Yeah, 100%. I think that's why we're having to negotiate tight on deals. We're trying to get, the likes of the lad at Burnley on a deal that's what, 5 mil a year or something for 4 years. We're having to bargain with them.
It said at first that we offered a loan. I don't know how true that was. We said, can we loan him? Which is stupid because they wanted to keep him. The only reason we'd be able to get him is because of buyout clause. But why not try and get him on a loan? Because if you could have got him on a loan, it would have been good for us because we don't want to pay a lot of money. You could have brought someone else in a different position then. You've got to try it. You've got to be cheeky, haven't you?
They're not going to do it, but it's worth it, a bid. This is something
Here we go.
We found.
There it is.
This is something. Let's just call it something that we found.
I like it.
And yeah,
I do. I really, really like it. And I'm not of a big group that like it, but
yeah, this is going to split opinions. I think this one with the pattern. I think some people are going to like the pattern, and some people are not.
This is where I've worked in a clothes shop for 20 years, and it's about fashion. Some people like to stand out. Some people don't like to stand out. And that is a bit of a standout kit, isn't it? I don't mind standing out. I like that. I proper like it. The pattern on the white kit, the white one with the tire down the tire print down the middle. People moaned about that at first, but they ended up liking it. And I think that print, you imagine some of our players in that? That's going to look proper tidy, I think.
I think once we've seen this in the flesh and not on a flat dimensional thing, I think it will look a lot better. And I think we'll warm up to it once we see the players in it in the photo shoot pictures, because we're just 100%. Seeing a flat image here. We don't know the material. We can't.
It's going to be one of them where people look at the kit and they're like, no. But when they try it on and they look good in it, you're thinking, you look good in it. So why are you saying no? Because it looks really good on. And then when people see people upload things of them looking good in it, they'll want to get it and look good in it as well. That's how it'll go. But I do like that. Nice kit.
We've got Paul saying he likes it. And is it with black shorts? We don't know yet.
Probably going to be navy, isn't it? Do you think with the navy little prints and stuff, it's going to be navy?
I wouldn't be surprised if it's like a deep blue.
I like the pinks. I do like the pinks. The pinks that we had back in the day. I can remember when I was going to Goodison, and everyone you're on the motorway and you can see all the people in the pink kits as you go by them on the motorway, and the Everton pink kit that used to really stand out. I think it's just good. Good to get a standout kit.
Chris said we've had pink before, and he's not sure yet.
Yeah, go on. Put your thoughts in, because we know a lot of people will say no, and a lot of people will like it.
Eugene's saying, is that the new away top? Well, we can't say for sure, but we think it will be. It's going to be announced tomorrow on the hottest day of the year.
Put it back up again for 2 seconds. Show them. They seem to love it. We're the releasers. We're releasing the kit before anyone else. There you go.
We're going to get taken down.
There you go. No, we are the Everton. We are the biggest Everton website going. We know people.
You can see there's a little the little Rupert's Tower on the back in
navy collar. The navy collar looks smart, doesn't it?
Yeah, the collar's nice. Yeah,
because if you look at your collar, it's quite a big collar, so the navy will stand out on it.
Yeah, they've tried to match that, haven't they?
It look nice. That'll look nice on the channel. I'm definitely going to get that.
Yeah,
definitely going to get it.
I'll be interested to see.
What was the comment saying? Do they all like it or the 50-50?
No more comments since then, but some have said they like it. Some have said they're not sure. Chris thinks it'll grow on him.
Yeah, that's what a lot of people have
I
said.
think
It'll
that's
grow on
what
them.
people. I think once they see, the Blues in it, raring to go, I think they'll want it.
100%. 100%. Right. We've gone through everything. We've tried to update you on stuff, and we'll be back on again after. Well, do you want to go again after the next game, Basil?
Yeah, we'll review the next game.
We'll review the next game. We're
See
getting
what
the gist of
happens.
this now. Yeah, we'll see what happens, and then we'll review it.
Let's hope they don't change the whole team, because it was a nightmare having to make the.
Yeah, that was a big one today. I don't think we'll get. That's a lot of substitutions, 11 at half time. Do you know what I mean? That was a hard one to go through, but it was interesting. At least we got to look at a lot of players, and we got to see a lot of players that we wanted to see, because if he played the same 11 all the way through that Arsenal game, we would have moaned we didn't get to see these young kids. So it was nice to see them play.
Yeah, definitely. And we've got the likes of Dobbin, and I don't know what's happened to Andre Gomez. There's a few of them that we didn't actually see in that game. So it'll be interesting to see if they feature or not. But join us later in the week where we'll be reviewing the Minnesota Everton game. And for now, thank you for joining, Dan. Everyone hit the like and subscribe and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Thank you.